Hi! Good evening. Na-miss nyo ba ako? Hindi ako record ng ng dire-diretso para sa dapat kasi sa mga part na ganito dapat kasi dire-diretso sa isang araw sa tuwing isang araw may isa akong record. Kaso nga lang yung time ko mag-record gising pa yung mga gising pa mga tao dito. Hindi ako nakapag-record. Sorry. Mengo. Pero ito na tayo. Babalik na tayo sa Katawa Shoujo ulit, part 4. Yes, kakagana natin sa mga date natin kay Lilly-sama. Ano pa bang pinaka sa susunod naman, ewan ko kung ano mga sa susunod, syempre wala namang sinabi sa akin. Tsaka what can I tingin ko malapit na tayo sa second act kasi nakakilala na naman natin lahat-lahat. Tsaka ata ano to? Ito na yung naanohan na yung kung anong route yung pupuntahan ko. Kasi 'di ba yung Act 1, yun yung papakilala pa lang yung lahat-lahat. Tapos yung Act 2, magkakaiba na yan sa mga heroine na pinili mo kung ano man. At let's go. Go 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 go. Go 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 go. Load na tayo dito. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday, though, but the festival as well. Yung nga pala, festival na rin. Ngayon ko lang din naalala ulit. Ngayon ko lang nalaro ulit eh. Kailangan ko talaga maglaro ng dire-diretso kasi makakalimutan ko talaga. Dami-dami kong binabasang manga eh. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles out onto plates for people with a craving for low quality food. Low quality, hindi, ano lang, dito. Low price pero masarap. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. Siyempre, kailangan mong pumunta sa school. Magsaya sa festival. Tingnan mo kung natapos ni Rin yung kanyang art. And what's more, punta tayo kay Lilly-sama. Lilly-sama, you know? There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligation regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Yeah. Finishing my morning route, I exit. Morning route? Anong ginagawa mo morning route na yan? Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decided to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. I'm curious if he has any plans since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort complete with no girls allowed sign. Anong bata? Even and with the girls crossed out and body crudely scrolled underneath. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling click of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The doors open up a crack. Oo nga pala, madami siya ding lock. Bakit kaya? At least secured siya. Sa tingin ko, para sa akin, hanggang dalawa lang. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early. Oh, it's not really that early. What is it, man? Nothing. Was just gonna ask what you're gonna do today. Half the school is out there already. Out there, why? What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Huh? Why are they? Why are they there? Why are they? Why are they there? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? He suddenly looks more alarmed. What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess you can see the big wooden boots outside and people selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtains closed at all times to thwart the snipers. Okay? Understandable. Kung kaano-ano yung ano mo. Kung you're worth sniping. It's the festival, you know that, right? Oh shit, that's today. Damn it. Oh my god. Nag-aano na naman yung ano, yung PC ng kapatid ko. Nagba-blackout. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. It's going to be a very bad day. It's good. You told me this, man. This is going to be a bad day. Why? Oh man, they're going to be everywhere. The people outside my window socializing.
Yes, I really hate that word. I really hate what they do. I hate socializing.
Okay lang naman socializing, but keep it to bare minimum. You know? Kasi masyadong socializing ay pangit. Nagmumukha ka lang ano, pakilamera. Pakilamera. Kenji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly look very ill. It's going to be loud as hell. Damn. And I was going to go out today, but now it's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out. I can't believe this. That's what today was. Damn, and I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself up now, and now it's here and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished. Sorry, oh my god, I thought you knew. Wala akong makita. Wala akong makita. Nakita ba kayo? Ako wala. May nakita ba kayo? So I guess you're not going to do anything today. The weather is even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not though. So there's no reason to just stay inside, yeah. You should check the festival out. Kenji groans and covers his face and with his hands. Ah, no, I can't do it. They'll eat me alive out there. I know it. That has to be a joke. But he said it with such a straight face, relatively straight. What are you going to do? We should hang out in here. You can help me build my fort. We might still make it if we work together. I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seems pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see at least that one, and chat with Lily, I guess. Sabi ko, pumasok na talaga tayo sa root ni Lily. Locked in na to. Locked in, mofo. With Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligation for the project? Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen. Man, her presence is like a dark shadows in the way of my great vision, as expected of blind people. What? Besides, I thought that you were also. He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize the statement, casting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just the corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. I can see the future of mankind. It's a dark one, unless the threat of woman is stifled. They are everywhere. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire. Then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of my so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect timing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. Pupunta pa rin, syempre. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away at the rather bland tasting item. I guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than nothing and didn't cost much. Mas maganda yung quantity. Quantity is good. Okay na yung meh, except na napagkasarap naman pero napagkamahal. Okay na yung quantity. Kasi mabubusog ka din naman. Pareho lang naman pampabusog. Siyempre, nasa taste din yan, pero mas maganda mabusog ka. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in the din from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized colorful snack. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly, something that I'd also noticed when I was walking around the town. This must be one of those towns where only people left are those that live here their whole lives and ardently refuse to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of their days in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. Mas maganda yung konti lang mga tao talaga. Mas maganda na yung may tao kaysa naman yung walang katao-tao tsaka yung masyadong maraming tao. It's always, in the middle. But hindi naman in the middle talaga, yung parang above average or below average yung mga magaganda talaga. Hindi right in the middle. I guess that also goes away to explain how conservative Yamako's school culture seems to be. Not that I mind one bit, I kind of like how calm and Yamako and its surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting. Now that the hottest part of the day is here, I'd better get moving if I ga. The sound of the carillon bells takes me completely surprised as I stand up. A reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells and its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimace of their younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic, applause and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glanced around for something to do. It is somewhat difficult to see every far with all the people around. I decide to fall back on a tried and trusted role. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. Yung malay mo, bike club din. May mga bike club. Sana all merong festival. In deciding which to visit first, I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going. After all of the work she and her class have been doing for it. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the classes took so long to organize everything. Nice! May kakigori? Is that kakigori? I do like my shaved ice. Takoyaki? Oh, nice. Kala mo talaga Japanese people eh. Weeaboo lang ako, weeaboo. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls and with equipment for cooking strewn everywhere, it's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that, oh my god, 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 what's happening? Sira na yung yung monitor. Kung nakita ba sa record. From her expression and the fact that both to be in a state of mild it appears that there seems some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that, we're having a problem, so what would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso syrup. Miso syrup. Miso shiro. Shiro? Ano ba yung soup? Miso shiro, di ba? Shiro? Miso soup. Ah, is that Hisaw? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portion cover over the problem? It seems like that's what we'll have to do, though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. I glanced behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left. That's right, she's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Classmate to helps. Baligtad na lagyan ng S. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind, I stealthily glanced backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. I guess I'd better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup, alright, coming right up. Lily turns and calls for a bowl of soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I have handed over correct change and she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks, I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Hisao. Oh, there's one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay, I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done then? Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako too. Thank you, Hisao. I walk off from the stall and find the sheet carefully cradling and the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be. Perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago but still weighs heavily on my mind. Ang mahalaga din naman ng consumer, you know. Hindi lang puro demand. Kung wala kang consumer, hindi ang cycle ng pera. Wow, merong ganun. ABM ka, hindi. Techbook po ako. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Bakit pa nag-festival? Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Right, I know what I'll do. Even if it's just one person, I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. I'm g- I'm I'm really considerate to Lilly-sama. I'm so good. I'm a good person. As I place the ball on the counter, I call out to Lily. Ah, Hisaw, you brought it back? Yeah, here. I slide it into her hand and she takes it over to someone who's apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, it's probably a penalty for their tardiness. Kailangan ng mag-stall. Meron naman yung yung order, yung parang kung sino mag-aano para pwede rin kayong umikot sa festival. Bakit ba nag-festival kung magbabantay lang? Ah, para sa visitors. Okay, good. Hey, Lily. She perks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again. Realize that I'm still here. Want to go see some more of the festival? She puffs her cheek disapproving. It looks kind of cute and in complete contradiction to her usually reserved nature. Lilly-sama. Nagpo-brush si Lilly-sama. Oh my god. Nagpa-pout si Lilly-sama. So good. It takes a few seconds for me to get what she's taking issue with. Whoops. I didn't mean to. Lily giggles at me, exposing her teasing for what it is. You're still not used to the school, are you? She got me. Still, I kind of need to stay with our soul. It's taken until just now to even get everything unpacked. I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me, considering how much work she's put into this. Everything seems to be running fine now, though. Besides, you've got extra help on hand anyway. A boy in the middle of cooking some soba May time with may with time with Lilly-sama. Oh my god, what's happening? Oh my god. Is it? Oh my god. Ah, wala akong makita. Wala din ba kayo makita? Oh my god, dito tayo magtatagal eh. Oh my god. Sa monitor daw to sabi ng kapatid ko. Bakit kaya? Ang tanong bakit? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Nakita niyo pa ba? Dapat kasi meron tong voice para kahit bulag ako, alam ko nangyayari. Oh my god. Parang kay ano lang, kay Lilly-sama. Oh my god, balik na. Nice. Sana naman magtagal ang tanong. Aboy. Are we back? Are we back? Nakita niyo na ba? Soba noodles turns toward us grinning. Go on, Lils. You've earned yourself a break. We can hold down the fort for now. Lils. Oh, Lils. Yeah. Huwag mong tatawagin si Lilly-sama ng Lils. It's Lilly-sama, bro. If you say it's okay, then I suppose so. But if you need any help, then we'll call you. Go on, we'll be fine. Lily finally gives up her resistance as he waves a spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stall and picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Hanako. Lily seems kind of worried about her, and I doubt she'd be kind of person to enjoy milling about in ano ba? Milling about in crowds like this all alone. So I guess we should search for Hanako. Where to first? Hmm. The both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room. I doubt it. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. Ah, the library? Ah, wait lang. Sinising ako. Ah. Say! Matay na ako. As a good, as good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. The library it is. We'll check there first then. Eh? Hindi. Bakit dahan ako? Festival date. Aside from the muffled sounds of the crowding seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. Deserted? Ah. Alam ko na kung bakit walang mga masyadong festival sa mga school. Kasi yung school maliliit lang. Kung yung mga ganyang school, mga tarito. Kung may whole ground, tapos meron sa gitna, hindi nila kailangan na yan, no? Tarito. Hindi nila kailangan mag-worried na baka may infiltration sa loob ng school o kung ano man. Pero, dangerous pa rin. Pero, mas maganda ka talaga festival. Paano yung mga festival na nasa loob ng school, yung booth by booth yung classroom, tapos meron pa silang, yung may mga band, tapos mga theater pa sa, dun sa gymnasium. Good shit. Hindi ko, talaga, kulang talaga. Gusto ko ng mga ganun festival. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events were organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large by any or other school standards. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk to the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lily anticipates every door and obstacle. Her cane remains still and her hands skating along the hallway's railings. You really know the school well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here for a few years now, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up though. Sometimes I haven't been there as long and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I'm remembering right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and used as dormitories. Oh, nice. That explains why the male and female doors look different from the outside and why their room seems kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I'd assume she'd be living in the dormitory since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. That's right, you mentioned that before. I'd assume that most of the students here live in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seem to, in any case. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my questioning evidently touching on a delicate point. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons. Something tells me that one of with those with reasons is Hanako, hence her tiptoeing around the answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamako itself seems like a nice place. It's good to hear you say that. I thought you were coming to dislike it. What about you, though? My reversal of Lily's statement takes her by surprise. I've been here for a while, so it's not that. You just seem pretty depressed about Akira. Hmm? What's with that look? Akira's taken. Sorry, Hisaw. Lily's never see how fast my palm meets my face at her sly accusation. Hey, I was worried about you. There's no way to respond to concern. While she gives me an amused grin and we round the corner of the hall and enter the library. Whew, munti ka na. Akala ko mapapansin niya na siya yung tina-target. Siya yung aking gusto. Munti ka na yun. And enter the library. As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako considering that the room is completely devoid of anyone else. Given that there are no staff around, I guess there's no need to heed the usual library rules. I call out to her. Hey, Hanako. Hanako is here. As she hears out our voices, Hanako head flicks up from behind a book. Probably the same one she'd been reading on Friday. Hisaw. Lily. Just thought we'd drop by. Lily just managed to escape from the noodle stall with a little help. That wasn't really an escape. You could say, I'd take her out. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. I just thought that Lily might not be enjoying the festival. Well, now we can enjoy it together, right? The two nod happily before we set out of the library and towards the festivities. I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take the two styrofoam cups of tea. I try to accentuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those two in the gardens while I brought drinks. Trying to juggle the two cups of hot tea for them and a can of coffee for myself out of a vending machine isn't exactly easy. Gusto ko ka mo no, vending machine kung kahit saan kang pwedeng mapunta. Yung parang konting lakad mo lang may vending machine na. Gucci talaga. Gucci sa Japan. So nga lang mahirap daw. Mahirap para sa mga foreigners. With some careful maneuvering, though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lily and Hanako are sitting and chatting. Sorry. It's actually quite a nice place, lit only by moonlight. It's tucked away some distance from the main event. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is also pleasantly cool by now. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either close to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Hisaw. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close and even Hanako hadn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes gingerly. Ano yung gingerly? Gingerly takes a cup from my right hand and I gently place the other into Lily's outstretched hands. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisaw? Yeah, it was pretty fun. An honest answer, much of the food may have been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lily. Mostly Lily. Ho ho! Biasness. What can I say? In fact, I think those two may have enjoyed themselves even more than I did. With both Lily and me around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Kakagulat. As we sit drinking, the whistle of the first firework rings out of before it explodes into a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky. heralding the beginning of the end for the festival. Kakagulat naman yun. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowds scattered around the school's grounds on around the school grounds celebrating them. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watched the fireworks overhead as Lily blissfully listened to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow star shapes, circular and patterned with all manner of shapes and colors filled the air, one after the other, and danced across the sky. No place near where I live put on such lavish displays. Festival like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these two is probably the happiest I've been in a long while. Especially Lily-sama. Lilly-sama. So that's it. The festival's finally ending. Isang araw lang. Di ba yung parang yung katulad nung isa iba yung tatlo ko hanggang 2 araw? You know, para good. Yeah. She gives a delicate wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, it's still sad that we'll have graduate before the next Yamako festival. I walk towards and stand beside Lily, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, we still have Tanabata later in the year, right? You're right, it would be nice to go there when it comes. Wow! You know Tanabata? Yun yung parang maglalagay ka ng, yung parang ganito, yung paganon, mga paganan. Tapos maglalagay ka ng wish, tapos lalagay mo sa mga bamboo or kung ano man. Tama ako, di ba? Yun yung Tanabata. Paki-check na nga lang po. You're right, it would be nice to go there when it comes. Minute of silence passed with only blast of the fireworks to be heard. Seeing those two reminds me of those words of advice Lily had given me as we walk into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey Lily. She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening. Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the Technicolor. Gusto ko yung word yun, Technicolor. Technicolor fireworks bursting overhead. You mind if I join you to 40 every now and again? The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be a pleasure, Hisa. Nice! Nice! At damn. Ang ganda ng animation. Nice! Ine. Nice. Ine. Skiyo? Kore ga. Hoho. Ah! So intimate, Lilly-sama. Oh! Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god, Lilly-sama. Oh, Lilly-sama. Damn. Pasto. Akto na tayo, sabi ko sa inyo, malapit. I'm so good. Kasi naalala ko pa dati pa. Sorry. Awake to the annoying din of my alarm clock. It's bright red, numerous lighting up my face. It's the same alarm clock I had at home, one of the few remaining artifacts from my days before coming to Yamako. I'd hoped that using it would help ease my transition into this new life. No such luck though. Groggily dragging myself out of bed, I wiped the sleep out of my eyes, then reached over to my desk. I opened a couple of the bottles of medication strewn across it and swallows a few pills dry. By now, the process is starting to become automatic, something I should be glad for, given their purpose. Feeling much more awake than before, I wander into the bathroom. While the slow shower warms up, my mind begins to wander as my new daily routine begins once again. The bright colors of the fireworks fill my mind as do the two girls with whom I spent my time watching them. It feels strange to be moved so much by people I know so little about. Ano dito, no? Parang padalawa-dalawa. Parang si Shizune tsaka si Misha. Tapos si Rin, tapos si Emi, tapos si Lily, tapos si Hanako. Nag-i-intertwine, tapos isa lang pwede mong ano. Masyado kasing ano, kapag, mas okay talaga yung kapag isa lang talaga. Isa lang kung isa, you know? Para good. So, nag-i-intertwine. At least, ibig sabihin nun, para talagang mas nagaano yung world except na yung parang kayong dalawa lang, 'di ba? Cool, I'm so such a critic. Then again, I suppose there are normal circumstances. At least I have someone to talk to now, aside from my schoolmate next door. With the time left before school begins waning, I begin to get ready for class. Walking through the door into the classroom, I notice that I'm still somewhat early. I see about 5 or 6 students milling around. Ano ba talagang milling around na to? Ano ba yung milling na yan? Most of them looking as if they'd rather be still in bed. It it's a time like this that I appreciate being a morning person. That said, two students in particular seems just as perky as always. Hi Shizune, hi Misha. I suddenly realized that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it up with a wave. She doesn't seem overly bothered. Or interested for that matter. Tat. Hello Hichan, are you feeling well? I can only assume her greetings comes from Shizune. It's hard to tell if she's speaking as herself or Shizune sometimes. Better than most everyone else. I guess you two seem bright and cheaper. Misha signs this back to Shizune as I say it, eliciting a somewhat terse answer, if her sharp and rapid arm movements are any indication. Consider that these two made such a big deal out of the festival preparations. I probably should have chosen my words more carefully. Tat! Exclamation point? Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future. Michelle looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Shizune continues unabated. While your contribution to class 3 to stall is appreciated, word sure got around quickly that although these two have their fingers on the pulse of the school, we would prefer your efforts to be focused on the task at hand, namely your own class. Eh? Wala, wala akong gain. Hindi ko ano yung favor ni Lilly-sama. You know?
Lilly-sama?
As much as I hate to admit it, they do have a point. Before I can respond though, Shizune adds something more which draws a smile from Misha.
Tat.
Did you enjoy the festival then? Lecture over, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Did you too enjoy it? Shizune gives a short nod as Misha grins and bounces her head up and down. The contrast side by side is amusing. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice more students starting to trickle into the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they are a few minutes late. I look over to Hanako's seat and realize that she's already there, and contentedly reading a book. It makes me wonder just how long she's been there without me noticing. Ninja. Nin. With heavy footsteps coming up the hallway, signaling Muto's arrival, our idle, idle, idle talking comes to an end and I take my seat next to Misha. As the door slides open, he strides through with a ponderous gait. Gate? Wacha. Masyadong ano yung vocabulary nito. Nabobobo ako. His posture is even worse than usual and his eyes are barely staying open. I guess my quip to Lily and Hanako about the stuff was misplaced. Everyone opens their books and he reaches his desk and the first class of the new week begins. Wala mo nang day off kasi masyadong pagod yung ibang tao. Dapat diba 1-2 tapos day off ng 1-2 parang ganun. Kaya Thursday, Friday merong may festival tapos Saturday, Sunday parang ganun. I rub my eyes as the lunch bell rings out, glad for the temporary reprieve from work. I'm entirely unsurprised when I look over to the door and see Lily standing there, cane in hand, patiently waiting for Hanako. Considering her acceptance of my request to join them yesterday, I decided to spend my lunch with them rather than eat alone. Hanako moves surprisingly fast to meet her companion, and the two enter the hallway before I can catch up. Lily heads turns slightly, registering the sound of footsteps behind her. As Hanako notices that follows her lead, she almost jumps in surprise. Hisaw? Hello, Hisaw. Hi, sorry if I startled you. Wait lang, kung sasama ako kina Lilly-sama, paano yung sinabi ni Hisaw kina Rin tsaka kay Emmy na magkakain kung pwede siyang kumain dun sa taas. Baka natatandaan, considering lang ba? Hindi ko maalala. God mine. Lily turns to greet me, help in her orientation by Hanako. Good afternoon, Hisaw. Are you joining us? If it's no trouble, there's not much else to do, really. Lily gives a small nod as if to silently brush away any idea that it would be dribbling, troubling in the list. We descended one set of stairs and walked down the hallway to the usual room. Our pace somewhat quicker than usual thanks to Lily using Hanako for direction, rather than her cane and the railings. As suspected, it's deserted. The sounds of the other clubs can only barely be heard as sunlight streams into the room from the outside. Looking around the room, I noticed a couple of empty easels propped up against a wall that I don't think were there before. Oh, Fushigi Yugi. The art club must use this room as extra storage. Should I get the chest out? Wow, my chest. Mga ganon, parang A1, B2, parang ganon ganon. Ganon ba yan? Should I get the chest out? Hanako's voice seems less tense when she's directly addressing Lily. Yes, I'll make a tea while you sort the pieces. I can do that for you if you'd like. She ponders the offer for a moment before smiling, confirming that I've made the right choice. Her face is remarkably easy to read. Oh, nice. Very well, thank you. She slides her retracted cane into the handle of her bag and sets against one of the table legs, before taking a seat opposite Hanako. As I prepare tea for the three of us, I can hear the small wooden pieces being set on the board. I wonder how good Lily is at chess. Okay, good naman. At chess, given her circumstances. By the time I place the steaming teacups into the table, Lily and Hanako have already moved their first piece as they nibble on sandwiches and rice balls from their respective bags. Oh, rice balls. May nakatikim na ako ng rice balls. Pero ano siya? Ewan ko kung yun ba talaga dapat yung lasa nun. Ano siya, ang akin cheese, tapos tuna, yung loob. Tapos may seaweed sa taas, syempre. Masarap. Masarap naman. Weird. Weird lang kainin. Masarap, pero weird. I note that the chessboard they're using has holes in the middle of each square, and pegs on the bottom of the pieces and has each dark square slightly raised. Oh. Watching Lily's fingers skating over the board, tracing out the position of the pieces makes me marvel a little at the simple ingenuity of the design. It must be specifically made for blind players. Nice, nice. Ngayon ko lang nalaman yun. O ngayon ko lang tandaan. Kasi dati na, alam niyo na naman. Here you go. Hanako gives a small nod as I put down the teacup next to her of the board. Lily's hand ventures sideways slightly, so I gently place the cup, touching the tips of her fingers. Oh, a gesture she seems to appreciate. I finally take a seat and slice silently sipping my tea as the two play. The contrast in their appearance while playing is interesting and eh, I finally take a seat and finally silently sip my tea as the two play. The contrast in their appearances while playing is interesting to watch. Hanako looks closely at the board, her face one of the focused concentration. Lily, on the other hand, keeps her head level and maintains her calm neutrality. Lily's gentle voice addresses both of us as she continues to play. How was class now that the festival is over? I look to Hanako to see whether she'll answer first, but see that she's doing the same. Not great. Half the class seemed to be dozing off, even including the teacher. Not to mention a test on top of all of that. Ba dapat mahalaga talaga yung day off pagkatapos ng isang festival? Kundi magiging ganyan, burnt out, if I must say. Uminom lang ako ng tubig. Hanako quietly adds her own agreement with this. I could imagine that being a bit difficult for you, being a transfer student. Well, I think I did fine. Other than the shock of a test coming so early, science is probably my best subject. How'd you do, Hanako? Okay, I guess. Hanako's too sincere to be able to pull off flying very well. That much is obvious. Lily's smile slips very slightly from her reaction. Hanako mustn't be skilled enough at academics to do very well without preparation. How did your chess? How did your class handle it, Lily? It went surprisingly well. Actually, only one student was absent, which was better than what the teacher expected. With the topic all but ran dry, the two concentrated on their chess game once again. I can say I've ever liked the idea of chess as a spectator sport, but given its unique nature, for once I'm wrapped in watching the game unfold. Wrapped. Hirap naman. As time wears on, both of them demonstrate decent skill at playing the game. Having captured two more pawns than Hanako, Lily has the upper hand but only slightly. Until Hanako makes a strange move with her queen, seizing upon this lapse in judgment, Lily takes the piece with her knight. Without hesitation, Hanako moves a pawn to take Lily's rook on the opposite side of the board and promotes it to queen. Lily's face falters as her finger move over the pieces and she realizes that she just fell to Hanako's trap. It's a little distracting to have board traced out after each move, even if it's out of necessity. Judging by Hanako's lack of reaction, she must be used to this. She and Lily must have played at least a few games of chess against each other after all. Check. Check. That's not bad at all. Nice, Hanako. The compliment caused her to flower into a surprised blush. Thank you. I didn't think it would work. I look over to Lily, her fingers having just finished tracing out the position of her remaining pieces, in an attempt to extricate her king from this bind. I think this is checkmate. Hmm. I take another look at the board to confirm. Sure enough, her king has nowhere to escape without being threatened by another piece. My earlier question as to which of them is better at this has just been answered. So it is. Lily gives a small sigh as Hanako smiles. From the reaction, this seems like a fairly usual result. How long have you two been playing? Since I was young. Lily nods. Lily nods. Lily nods at Hanako's brief answer. Hanako, Hanako taught me how to play soon after I met her. I can beat her every now and then, but that's a rarity. I don't seem to have the right mindset for it. If Lily came to Yamako at the start of high school and met Hanako when she moved to the dorms, that means she'd only been playing for about 1 year. After seeing Hanako's level of play, I'm not too surprised Lily has trouble beating her. But she's better at languages than I am, so Lily gives an appreciative, if slightly amused, smile at Hanako's quick reversal for her compliment. Yeah, it's the compliment battle of the ages. Well, that's how it is. It is what it is. Much to everyone's surprise, the bell suddenly rings, heralding an end to the lunch break. That game lasted longer than I thought it did. Same, I guess we'd better get back to class. Hanako's already in the middle of packing up, so I take Lily's bag and offer to her. To my surprise, she takes it and nods, but then places it back down to the table. Lisa, may I make a request? Sure, go ahead. Would you mind if I were to quickly fill your face? Oh ho ho! Oh ho! Oh, oh, so initiative, Lilly-sama. Oh my God, oh no, 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 Lilly-sama. Wala po ba? Sorry. Ah, no, go ahead. I don't mind. The question takes me severely off guard, but once I regain my composure, it seems sensible enough. So far, Lilis had no idea what I actually look like, and this would be her only way to find out. Huh? Asya! So close. Really sama. Really sama. Oh my god. Wait. Thumbnail. Good thumbnail. Good thumbnail. Show image. Print screen. Nice. Option. Nice. Lily raises her right hand, which I take in mine, guide to my face before letting go. The room is entirely silently as Lily hands moves over around my features, from my chin to my cheeks to everywhere else. Huh? Kapag galing sa bulag, kapag galing kay Lily Sama, masyadong parang kapag inaano, parang napaka-sensual, yung parang alam niyo, Di parang gano'n. Tama ba? Tama ba? Hindi, hindi. Mali, mali, mali. Hindi, tama. Basta yun. Alam nyo na yun. Yung sa ghost. I expected this to feel a lot more disquieting than it does. I suppose that's because the action is entirely a matter of practicality, being factionally no different to simply looking at someone's face. Her hand is soft, but what takes me by surprise is the length of her fingers, not to mention how sure even the slightest of her movements are. I have no doubt that her level of tactile feeling would be far beyond mine. Her hand briefly runs over ah, Her hand briefly runs once through my hair before retreating. I'm sure that every inch of my face has been committed to her memory. It's only now, too, that I realize Hanako has been silently watching the entire time. God. Mas lalo nakakahiya kapag meron pang, syempre mas parang may nanonood. Pero parang pag walang nanonood, parang mas 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 sensual. Haha. So hot. Thank you for letting me do that, Hisaw. And if I might add, I think you are quite handsome. I blushed a little at her remark before raising a questioning eyebrow. But if you can see how, just because I can see that doesn't mean I don't have my own preferences. We'd better go now. Oh no! Lilly-sama pa. Masterpiece, baby. Masterpiece. Masterpiece. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess we'll see you later then, Lily. Walking through the hallway back to our classrooms, I noticed that Hanako seems quieter than before, but also more comfortable. Lily, her hand on Hanako's shoulder, seemed to pick up on her assured pace as well, smiling as they walked. If I could spend the rest of my time at Yamako like this, I don't think it'd be so bad. All that's need for joy are small exchanges of happiness after all. Hoho! Ine, ine. Pumapasok ka lang naman talaga para sa mga kaibigan. Tsaka, happiness, fun times, memorize. Pero syempre, kailangan mo din pumasok para sa Kaya maganda kapag ine-enjoy mo din yung mga subject. Dapat alam mo kung saan ka magaling tsaka saan ka may ganon, parang ganon. As I reached my desk and set my bag beside it, I realized something, or rather my stomach does. I was so busy with those I forgot to buy lunch. God, may kinalimutan na. Oh my God, ang bilis naman nun. Hindi pa naman tapos yung araw, di ba? God, may. Saturday, my second most favorite day of the week. This is almost entirely due to the fact that it is the day with the second least amount of school with class ending at the beginning of lunch. I opened my door confidently, myself being more than confident of being able to get enjoyment out of fine weather, shorter class length. I confidently stride down the hallway and down the stairs to the lobby of the male dorms. I confidently look behind me to see whose footsteps are approaching. I lose my confidence in this day being enjoyable. Kenji. Hey man, sup? Not much I guess. Just looking forward to the afternoon. You? He wraps an arm around my slumped shoulder first to comfortably. Something's up. Wala bang iba pang silang suot, sa mga para sa casual? Di ba Saturday? Tama, di ba Saturday? Walang pasok. Wala ba silang casual or kung ano man? Yung parang maiba naman, para maiba sa Pero syempre, baka nakasave para sa mga other girls except kay Kenji, di ba? Let's step outside, shall we? I was just about to before you stopped me. Uy, natapos ni Rin. Natin nyo? Natapos ni Rin sama. Nice. Rin sama tuloy kasi masyado akong sa art. I do like arts. And I hate arts din. Kasi di ako magaling. He doesn't take my reaction to this theatrics well. Ignoring him, I walk outside and start down the steps. It doesn't take too long for him to catch up with me again. I wonder if he wants money or to rant about another conspiracy. Maybe both. I've got a bone to pick with you. Uh-huh. It's about that blood. You know who I'm talking about. Conspiracy it is. For a moment, I contemplate feigning ignorance, but realize this will be go quicker if I just let him get it all out. Lily, the one from your class? You're on first name terms with her. Lilly-sama. Lilly-sama. He looks positively shocked at this development. Did he not expect me to be able to answer? He gathers himself and cuffs into his fist dramatically like everything he does. Well, never mind that. I'm here to warn you. You know, man to man. Warn me about what? Lily? Yeah, you don't know her, man. It's mostly true. I've only known her and Hanako for less than 2 weeks, and even then, been we've just been exchanging banal chatter about school as we while away lunch. I'm pretty sure you don't either. That's not the point. You're the one spending inordinate amounts of time with her. It distressed me that someone like Kenji, who's probably as far out of the loop as one could possibly get, knows about such trivial fact as who I choose to befriend. Ganun lang talaga yan. Then again, I am transfer student and she's not only representative of their class, but also a tall blonde. Maybe I should appreciate this ranting as a warning that the rumor mill exists in this school and that I'm fairly within it. It's just lunch, nothing special. Look man, under the bridge, see this bridge, you're under it. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do to get intel. I just want to make sure you don't end up too far under the bridge. You're losing me, Kenji. That's okay, lots of people get lost. That's why I'm here to help. Huh? Just be careful around her, okay? She looks all harmless on the outside, but I've heard shit. Bad shit. You know the student council, right? He seems to involuntarily shudder as involuntarily shudder as he says the words, putting him and Shizune together in a room in an amusing mental exercise. I wonder if they've met. Sama mo, Hisaw. Yeah, Shizune and Misha are in my class. I seem to have dodged the draft though. Good man, good man. But this blonde, she was there in the student council, right? Damn there. I see, and she's not there now. That. Serious, think about it. Something must have gone down. Ah, galing si, dating student council si Lilly-sama. Oh my god. Makes sense. I stopped walking for a moment, giving the idea more thought than I probably should. It would explain the fight the two had, at least in part. Wait, no, not really. Even leaving the student council would need a catalyst. In the end, it doesn't explain much at all, other than the fact that their feud goes back some ways. I guess you have a point. I'm not seeing how that really affects me though. Okay, now feel this one. Lily's foreign, obviously. Obviously. Right. You're right. Now, what nationality is she? I open my mouth to give the answer, but realize that I have none. In fact, I've given the matter very little thought. Given that she has no accent and acts perfectly Japanese, I suppose it's never really seemed important. Now that he mentioned it though, I am rather curious. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe English. They like tea. They like grass grass water. Enjoy yo. I'll be flamed. I probably shouldn't resort to stereotypes, but that's the only lead I have. You're not thinking. Luckily, you have me here to think for you. Gee, thanks. He brushed off the quick effortlessly. Now answer me. Who has lots of special social power? Is filthy thinking rich? You know blondes are all rich, right? Has a long mystery of his mystery. Has a long history of disputes and used to belong to a much larger organization. The Roman Catholic Church. Well, okay, there's that. But there's also the mafia. Come on, rich, foreign, there's no way she doesn't have connection to them. I have reason to doubt the logic of his deduction, but he shows no sign of stopping. So, do you know where I think she's from? So, do you know where I think she's from? Italy? Mainland Italy, small time, dude. She has to be from Sicily. All those mafioso types come from there. Wait, no, Russia. Damn, this could be bad. The mafia there is serious business, man. Ex-KGB everywhere. Paramilitaries, hardcore smuggling, and... Wait. Stop. Just stop down a sec. What point are you trying to get at here? You don't know what she'll do, man. I won't get in your way. Agents don't operate like that. But I just want you to be careful. Thanks for the warning. When the time comes, we'll need all the help we can get. I don't want to lose you, comrade. Comrade. Priyak. Well, at least he's concerned for me. Kinda. I wave goodbye to him as we separate out of our respective class, but I'm not sure that he sees the gesture. Ah, wait lang. Saturday, di ba? Bakit may klase? Baka sa Japanese may klase tuwing Saturday. I don't know. Piling my books into my bag, I catch a glimpse of the library books. I'd borrow last week, I might as well return them, considering they took all 2 days to finish. I briefly consider inviting Hanako along to the but she's already gone. It'll probably be better for my studying if I'm alone anyway. With a quick stretch and a wave to a couple of classmates who give the same to me, I make my way out of the classroom. Wow, nafe-fit in na siya talaga sa classroom. Nice. At least, mabilis. As I open my bag and shove the books through the return slot in the front counter, I notice a strange person behind the desk, old and graying. She must be Yuko's replacement when she's working at the cafe. I begin looking for a free table, a task made somewhat difficult considering that despite there not being many students here, they're all sitting at their own tables. Noticing a familiar head of hair, I walked over to one near the braille section. It's hard to tell whether Lily's concentrating hard or not, her placid expression holding perfectly still as her finger slides across the dot-filled pages of her book. So, ka mo maka-feel ng braille. Kahit isang beses lang. Di pa ako nakakaano ng braille. Yung parang kahit yung mahawakan lang. Kung pwede ba talagang ma, malaman talaga kung paano, Across the dot-filled pages of her book. Hi, mind if I sit here? Oh no. Oh, no problem at all. She tails off, evidently still focused on her business at hand. Ah, Hisaw. She gives a nod of greeting as opposite as I sit opposite her. I sit opposite of her at the table, pluck a chemistry textbook out of my back, and quickly thumb to the chapter we're covering in class. For a while, we sit there and read, each in our own way. Seeing her reminds me of what Kenji said this morning, though. That and the fact that I've never seen someone read in Braille before makes me keep throwing glances at her. I kind of feel guilty about it, given that she has no way to realize I'm doing so. So I decided to just ask her about it. Her lineage isn't exactly a state secret after all. And there's another thing I've only just noticed from her movements. Hey Lily, mind if I ask a question? Not at all. Is anything wrong? I was just wondering. You're at least part foreign, right? She gives me a small giggle before settling down her book. I've always been amused at how squeamish people are about that. Akira mentioned how much she looked, and I look different from most others before. The details are a bit complicated, but I'm half Japanese and half Scottish. Oh, Scottish. How nice. Scottish, that was not exactly my first guess. It takes some effort to not blurt it out loud. I tried to conjure image of the place in my mind. I think as far as the yokai goes, Scotland isn't best to live in, but I'm not really sure. My first guess of England was surprisingly close, at least geographically. That does leave another question though. But you have no accent. That's where the detail begins. Was born and raised in Japan, despite my mother being foreign. Hoho! Ah, I get it. Hold on, if she moves to the dorm simply due to Akira working longer hours, so they don't live near the school? She gives a small sigh of as if she didn't expect me to go any deeper. Was her previous frankness just a front? Not exactly. It's been a long time since we've actually met. I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, but I don't really want to go unduly prying into her situation. Her about face shows she feels kind of awkward about it. So, do you speak much English? To be honest, I don't know that much about Scotland, but at least I know that that's the main language there. Di ba Scottish? Meron bang language na Scottish? I don't know. I'm bad at geography and history. You know? Tsaka iba pa. Pilipinas nga, hindi ko maikabisado. Ibang ano pa kaya? Ibang bansa pa. Dami-dami mo namin ditong accent or dialects. Ibang bansa pa kaya. It takes her a moment to collect herself, appreciating the change in topic. That's right, my family mostly used Japanese around the house when I was young, but they made sure Akira and I knew our Scottish side as just as well. I'm fluent in the language, but I'm also studying it in school to keep my skills up and to have the qualification on paper mainly. So you're bilingual. That's pretty impressive. I wouldn't go that far. Having parents who can speak the language is a large advantage. And English books in Braille aren't too hard to buy or import, with Yoko's help at least. There's relatively high demand for local English teachers here anyway, which also helps gives me some motivation to learn it well. Oo nga pala, no? Pag Japanese na bulag, or ano, pare-parehas lang ba yun? Ano ba? Meron bang braille na Japanese? Or ano? Wait lang. Or lahat ng braille English? Hmm? Oh my God. Na gumanon yung aking ano, yung aking brain yung poof. Sumabog yung brain ko. Demand for English teachers. For a moment, I wonder why she brought this up. You're planning to be an English teacher? She gives an enthusiastic nod. It must be nice having such a definite future in mind. I've never really given much thought to mine, so I'm kind of envious. Hmm, what's wrong? It's just I could see you as a teacher pretty easily. It suits you. For a moment, she's speechless. She lowers her face a little and lets out a nervous giggle, something I've never seen her do before. With Lily's role as a class representative and her dependable nature, teaching just seems to be a line of work fitting her personality. Sorry, that was probably a little much. It is true though. Waving her hand in front of her face dismissively, she quickly recovers. It's not that, it's just that only one person ever said that to me before. Uh, a short, somewhat awkward silence follows the discussion. Without knowing it, I end up steering into a troublesome topic again. I should try to cheer up a little. It was me who went and got her brooding after all. Want to grab lunch at the cafeteria after this? It might perk her up a bit, or at least take her mind off her apparently complicated family situation. Going by her smile, it seems to have the intended effect. I appreciate the thought, but the food there, quite a quick redirection of the conversation. She does have a point though. The food there isn't the greatest. Ito, hospital food isn't that great. It's nutrition. It's nutritious, but it's not great. Does it have a taste? Makes me like I have a COVID. Maybe the Shanghai. We could ask Hanako if she wants to come as well. Ah, what is it? I almost forgot until you remind me. Hanako's birthday is coming up soon, and I was going to shopping in the city for a present tomorrow. If that was an invitation, I'd be happy to come to accompany you. The ability to get more used to the layout of the city would probably be a good thing. I have barely set foot in there, so I'd be hopelessly lost by myself. Ho ho, makita ba natin si Lilly-sama na naka casual clothing? Nice and ne? She gives a nod signaling that she's happily approved of this plan for Sunday. We eventually get back to our books, though before I begin reading again, I still want last glance at her. Maybe I've been thinking on my situation too much. After all, everybody here would have their own unique circumstances. The chance to get outside and clear my head will probably do me good. Ine, is this the shopping date agad-agad? Nice, oh. Bored of standing in place and watching the television in a shop window, I pull myself away from the tacky display with little effort. After leaving at Yamako, the city seemed like an entirely different world. No running in the halls. Calm and orderly conduct is to be used at all times in the classrooms. Students are to exit rooms after checking both directions for oncomers. Elevators are reserved for movement impaired students, single file on stairs. Compared to such strict, almost regimental standards, the city's shopping arcade might as well be a strange country. While the school may have its fair share of hustle and bustle during the festival, the outside world is so much different. Outside world. Ngayon ka lang ba talaga lumabas? It's strange. Parang ano, na-COVID ka ba? Galing ka ba sa pandemic? Outside world lang puta. It's strange, having lived in a metropolitan city before my accident. It should feel more natural than Yamako and the surrounding town ever could. Yet it feels foreign somehow. The elevated walkways and tall buildings, each adorned with billboards taller than any three people, don't do anything to distract me from the passing crowd reactions. Aha! Lily-sama in her casual clothes. Noisu! Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, the other holding her cane which taps the ground with a metronome-like steadiness. Looking over to her, the neutral smiles of her still holds. Having only seen her in school uniform, oh yes, I'd not have recognized her as she sat on a bench waiting for me to come. If not for her cane propped up against it and her distinctive hair, I can tell whether they're glancing at her due to her height, her foreign looks, her obvious blindness, or all three. Not that any of those would make the situation any less uncomfortable than it is. Do you have any ideas of where to look first, Hisaw? Her soft break, her soft voice breaks me out of my line of thought. I can't imagine that she's failing to notice the attention she garners, but she seems unfazed by it. I get the feeling she's the type to enjoy walking outside, so she might be used to it by now. Not really. This is my first time in the city, so I've got no idea of where to go. She fires her bro in thought, planning a route for us to take, and come to think of it, a way to communicate it. Something I'd noticed in the time I'd been with her is how, when deep in thought, she locks close to any form of body language to show it. Her expression may change, but not a hint of movement shows. She seems to have a little in the way of of sweeping physical gestures in general, though, so I've assumed it's part of her reserved nature. Is there a large electronics store near here? I take a quick look around, mostly finding clothing stores. After a few seconds, I notice a store with bright blue signs some distance away that fits her description. Yep, it's just a bit ahead of us. Should we go in that direction? Thankfully, it's just the information she needed. With a nod, we start off and head towards Lily's unknown destination. Landmarks being our guide. Here you go. One vanilla, one chocolate. I hand the money over to the counter and takes the cone to the railing that Lily's sitting on. I can't believe I let her trick me like this. She not only led me to an ice cream stall and also got me to buy her some. At least she gave me the money for hers. You need to be, you need to be considerate. It's Lilly-sama after all. It's Lilly-sama. She, she's enough, sure enough, she's patiently waiting where I left her. I guess she was planning on making the day an event rather than a simple, simple shopping trip. I call out to her and slowly place the vanilla cone in her outstretched hands, being carefully to make sure she has a good hold of it before letting go. At least her tastes are fairly normal. I was worried she'd ask for some weird flavor when she first asked. Here's the change. It's okay. Keep it. I moved to protest but realized the futility of doing so over such a small amount. I slipped the coin into my pocket, supplementing my meager allowance ever so slightly. Lily showed no signs of wanting to get up. So I take a seat beside her and start eating my own ice cream. Baka meron tong no, kapag adult adult content, baka may ibang, ice cream, boko na piko, mga ganon. The summer weather is nice. Hopefully it will hold out for a while. You too, I'm beginning to think I'm the only person who prefers winter. I contemplate her statement for a long moment. Yeah, I think you might be. I think it was the intended reaction. She's cute when she's pouting. You true. You, that's true. We're same in that same consensus of Hisaw. Still, I can't really imagine what's so good about winter. You can go out without bundling up and you still freeze anyway. I used to live further north, where there'd be plenty of snow to play in, so it's a little nostalgic. I don't like the heat very much either. At least you can wear a skirt, so don't complain about that. She gives an amused giggle as we both get back to finishing off our already melting cones. Hoho. Para sa akin, mas prefer ko winter. Oo, mabilis ako lamigin, pero pwede kang magsuot ng magsuot, di ba? Para kang masabi ko na to. Mon. Baka pinapanood na pala ako ni Mon na ibang visual novel na nilalaro ko. Oh my god. I idly sit and watch the crowds going by as we eat, catching bits and pieces of conversation. Looking to Lily, I see her dutifully licking her ice cream from top downwards, blissfully unaware of the fact that it's begun to melt. It's melting. Where? I'm down a bit. She lowers her mouth from the top of the cone, but has no idea of exactly where the ice cream's dripping. What follows is a game of guiding her left and right until she finally finds it. To any looker, it must seem obviously absolutely bizarre. A girl with her eyes closed turning her cone over and over as the guy next to her gives a strange variant of childhood blindfold games maybe. Nani play? What kind of play is that? In good time, in good time we finally finish our treats, and while away the time conversing casually. Caught mid-sentence, Lily perks her head in her trademark manner. It's an unmistakable sign that something's caught her attention. Ah, what is it? Is Akari somewhere over there? I think I heard her. I raise an eyebrow as I look in the direction she's facing, somewhat doubtful of her ability to pick out Akira's lone voice in the din. Oh my god, nandun nga siya. Astig na, may layering na ginamit. Si Lilly-sama yung crowd, tapos yung si Akira. Sure enough, though, a blonde girl in a suit that can be see through the tiny gaps between people walking every which way. I raise a hand and wave trying to catch her attention. Sato, hey Sato. She taps in her tracks and look towards me, evidently noticing my call. As she does, I notice someone walking beside her. I can get a look at whoever it is though, before the two begin walking towards where we are. As they reach us, Lily and I stand and dust over, and dust ourselves off. Akira, hey, oh my god, nag-blank nga naman. Hey, you two. Oh my god, who, wow, why, who, yo, ha, hey, ho, you. Ah, baka ito. Oh my god. Kung mukhang lalaki si Akira, sa, sa tingin ko lalaki, cross-dressed. Nice! I do like my traps, I appreciate it. She nods towards me, a gesture with which I quickly return. My gaze shifts towards the young girl next to her, and our eyes meet. As they do, Akira flaps a hand onto her head, a move which doesn't seem to faze her. I don't believe we'd met. I'm Hideaki. Pleased to meet you, Hisao. Hideaki. Seems a guy's name. A guy's name, huh? Guess I just dodged a bullet. He bows somewhat restrained by Akira's hand being on his head. Oh, Hideaki's here too. Are you well? Akira's been taking very good care of me, thank you. Akira grins as if to affirm the point and rubs his head hard, dragging it around in a circular motion. His dreary face during this is somewhat amusing. Uncle's out on business again, so I'm just taking him around town for today. I'd have preferred to be spending the day on a date with my boyfriend, but Hideaki gives a cough to try and redirect Akira's thoughts. Woohoo! As he does so, though I find my wondering, they're related any further as far as first cousin. I suppose I'll expect or she's taking care of him in any case. Come to think of it, Hideaki, how did you know my name? Akira told me, being a Yamako student, I suppose you're disabled in some way. Not everyone in Yamako's disabled, which I only learned a handful of days ago. I give silent takes to Shizune and Misha for their stream of info about how the school works. Because of them, I found out that since the school will accept practically anybody suffering from non-mental disabilities, it doesn't discriminate against healthy people either. It seems unlikely that many in good health would enroll there though, while the standard of education is pretty high. It's extremely isolated and very much focused on helping disabled people, students. Parang magandang school para sa gustong maging nurse. You're dodging the question. Damn, he's sharp. Before I can say another word though, he decided to take a stab at it himself. If I were to call it myself, your heart. Aka looks mildly curious at me, her stupid. Ay, you're stupid. Sorry. Her interest piqued as well. That sure was a lucky guess. How did you? You show no missing lips or deformities, so external disabilities are out. Consider the lack of any strange mannerism is also unlikely that you'd have any mental disability. But Yamako doesn't take mentally disabled students. I know. Leaving that aside, the only possibility left is that of internal disabilities. I didn't know which one you might bear, so I guess correctly as it turns out, and your reaction confirmed my guess. More than a little bemused, I look to Akira. She grins and shrugs, obviously taking some enjoyment out of her partner's deductions. Are you a detective or some sort? He's sharp. He's sharp, yes, but more than a little unsympathetic, logical, but lacking in tact. His attitude reminds me of Shizune in a way, as do his looks. May I ask why you're staring at me? Surely I'm not that unusual a specimen. Does he not know how unusual he looks? I could overlook the spots and clothing as just being coincidental, but the ribbon in his hair really is too much. This is entirely beside the point though. Sorry, you just remind me of someone. Akira gives him a sharp jab with her elbow. Gives him a sharp jab with her elbow. Told ya, you're not that much different from her. He cups into his hand to try maintain an upright and serious demeanor. I see you've met my sister then. Perhaps my full name might help you. I'm Hideaki Hakamichi. You're probably thinking of my sister Shizune Hakamichi. Oh, so he's Shizune's brother. Wait a minute. If Hideaki is the son of Akira's uncle and Shizune is his sister, then that means Lily and Shizune's father are brothers. So therefore, Lily and Shizune are first cousins. Lily glows in an uncharacteristically unrestrained manner. The reaction earns an amused smirk from her sister. The enmity between the two just took on another meaning. I had thought it simply a matter of difficulty of communication between the two. But a family feud makes things much more complicated. You can choose your friends, but you can choose your family. True.
Ang hirap sa pamilya.
She gives a half-hearted shrug. She mustn't give in as much to the two's conflict as I do. Well, that's how it is. What you're two up to anyway on this fine day? We're shopping for Anako's birthday present. The day will coming up soon. Will be coming up soon. So this is the last chance we'll have before school start again for the week. Akira makes a strange face as if Lily had just said that the sky wasn't blue and the clouds not white. Isn't her birthday on the 10th next month? Yes, why? Is something wrong? Akira's face seems to collapse. It's an utterly unbefitting start for someone so rowdy and headstrong. The fox didn't call you yet? As Lily shakes her head cluelessly, I look at Hideaki to see if he knows anything about this. A simple shrug is his only answer. For a moment, Akira ponders what to do before smiling once again. The fact that she can hide her emotions so quickly and effectively is unsettling. Hey, Shorty, sorry, but could you hang out with Hiso for a while? He nods and waves her off, Akira placing an arm on Lily's shoulder as she guides her away and out of earshot. Yo, Trop. And so I'm alone with Shorty. Hey, Trap, you want to? Taste you? What's up? I do like my traps. So nice weather, isn't it? It seems so. Tat. I guess they dumped us. Indeed. What a fair attempt at small talk. I got no idea of how to talk to this guy and his robotic response aren't helping. Blood and a stone come to mind. Without another word, he begins to rock on his feet, an obvious gesture of boredom with this discussion. He really is like a little kid, despite his serious demeanor. Suspecting the conversation over, I decide to accomplish what I came here to do in the first place. I'm going to go search for a present coming. Not much else to do. My God, dapat si Lilly-sama kasama ko, pero I've been trapped with a trap. Badumts. Sorry. In a little while, we come to a small shop beside a convenience store. For once, the store windows aren't filled with electronics and computer games, but dolls, stuffed bears, and all manners of wood-crafted oddities. Hotelos, antiques, an antique store. Well, if there's anything in this town that suits Anako, I guess it'd be here. I reach for the old-looking door handle, but pull back at the last minute as I realize my companion's gonna drift. Not coming in? I'll just be in the newsstand for a while. Don't mind me. His voice makes it painfully clear he has zero interest in what's in the store and that he doesn't feel obligated to follow me. As he wanders off without another word, I push the thick wooden door and enter the store, a bell above me ringing out. Whoa! The musty smell of old books and wooden shelf is distinctly anachronistic. I look to the counter graying beside the door. The graying man behind it sits there silently, reading a tattered book. He certainly fits the look of the place. Slowly wandering through the aisle, the person I'm reminded of as I inspect each handcrafted or imported oddity in turn isn't Hanako. Crouching down, I examine the ancient oak desk inside the shop window. At least 30 dolls, all varyingly widely in size and make. The only similarity between them is the long Victorian dress they wear. Just some useless fuck. I do like Victorian era. I don't know why. It's just good. I like the aesthetic. I turn the price tag of one that looks to be about waist height. It's not in my price bracket at all. I do the same to each of them, getting more and more depressed as they get smaller and smaller in size. That is until I reach the very smallest one. It's affordable, just yet of quality make, and with long auburn hair and a little blue dress. I decide that it's the kind of present Hanako would appreciate, pretty looking and far from gaudy. After I carefully pick it up, I decide to keep looking around the store. I'm not sure whether it's because I like the atmosphere or out of simple curiosity. Mas maganda kasi yung parang nagta-time travel kay mga ganon. Yung parang out of nowhere. Parang nag-step in ka tapos bilang another world, if you must say. Picking around the corner before I go to the next side, I see that the shelves in this one are stocked with wooden toys, from toy cars to intricate automatons. Tucked, tucked behind a line of nutcrackers, I notice a little plain wooden bucket. It feels surprisingly light as I pick it up with my free hand. Oh my god, damn, good shit. Gusto ko din magkaroon ng ganyan. Tayo dito, music box. Oh, good shit. Kaso nga lang minsan masyado ding creepy kasi halos lahat ng mga merong horror game may music box. Pero good shit. Yung ipe-play mo siya kapag madilim. Tapos sa bahay ng kaklase mo. Kasi malapit na yung birthday niya. The lid only needs the small moment to pop open. The little metal drum inside began to rotate immediately. For seconds on end, I simply stand there listening to the palm-sized melody. As it plays, I take the tiny price in my fingers and bring it up to my face. The minuscule cursive writing taking some effort to read. It's affordable, sort of. Grimacing slightly, I close the lid and make my way to a counter with doll and music box in hand. Oh, merong sprite yung astig. Nice. When I lay the two on the counter, the man behind it sits up and takes stock of them. He doesn't hide very well his surprise at someone of my age buying them. It's painful, but I hand over the money for the two and leave the store with a small opaque bag in hand. Hideaki being there takes me by surprise. Oh, hi. I thought you'd be at the newsstand. Akira gave me a call. She's waiting for us at the fountain with Lily. At least that solves the issue of trying to find them again. We head off back to the fountain. Hideaki's immaculate posture and presentation, despite his appearance, makes for a strange contrast even as we walk. Lily and Akira stand there waiting for us, their faces hard to read. Hey, you ready to go, shorty? Hideaki's mood seems to improve as he rejoins her. Siya, Lily. Hisaw, tell Hanako I said happy birthday. We will. Bye. Goodbye, Akira. And with that, the two disappear into the fracas of the afternoon city crowd. Turning to Lily, I notice she's carrying a small bag. It's now that I realize why her disposition felt different from before. While Lily's typical, the type to wear her emotion on her sleeve, her expression and tone are clouded and difficult to read. It's more than a little off-putting, but given the effort she makes to hide her emotion, I doubt she wants to be concerned on why she's feeling this way. Already bought Hanako a present? Yes, have you? Yeah. Shall we head back to the bus stop then? Okay, there should be a bus back to Yamako pretty soon. Nice. And with that, we begin to walk. It feels strange compared to before. Lily's hand on my forearm feels unusually tense, and the whole atmosphere is extraordinarily awkward. Awkward, di ko alam. The silence continues for a long while. I really don't like seeing her like this. Hanako's birthday party is going to have to be held earlier. Is the fort going to be alright for you? I have no other possible obligation anyway, so I reflexively nod. Only afterwards do I learn that doing so is pointless and quickly answer so by speech. She tries to collect herself, a task that looks almost pitiable in how plain it is to see how distant her thoughts are. Sorry, Hisao. You said the bus would be coming soon, right? That's right. But now that she says that, I have an idea. Actually, do you have anything to do later today? I don't. I don't believe so. Why do you ask? This is the point where I'd normally take your hand and rush you somewhere, but even without that, you'll have to trust me, okay? I take her hand, gently lead her on her distant face, replaced by one of the mild surprise and curiosity.
Ine, Ine.
As the waitress sets the cup of tea and cup of coffee that I'd ordered onto the table, I thank her before she takes her leave. Truth be told, I really lucked out in finding this cafe. I didn't really know where I was going, rather I was just looking for any cafe that looked relatively nice. Having managed to recover a little and tentatively sips at her at cup, Lily tentatively sips at her cup as I take a long gulp of the coffee in front of me. As I hope her face lights up as she realizes what flavor it is. Ah, this is wonderful. Isaw, how did you know that this was? I asked for French vanilla black tea, hedging my bets that it would be her favorite flavor or at least one she liked. While I don't really know about schmutty, it sounded like one she might appreciate. On the basis of her liking vanilla ice cream, a tea consumer I am definitely not. It was lucky guess. You really like tea, don't you? She puts her teacup down and gives a tiny nod. That familiar small smile thankfully perched on her face once again. Drinking tea is calming, I think. With the amount you drink, are you sure you're not addicted to it? Caffeine addiction is pretty common nowadays. Did I ever say I wasn't? She does out giggle as my head drops. We all have our vices. I suppose, and there are worse things to be addicted to. French vanilla black tea, huh? I'll have to remember that. For a while, we'll both silently drink. It's comforting to have someone like her nearby in such new surroundings, even if it's just the two of us sitting in silence. I begin to wonder if this feeling is the same for her until she sets down her cup. Hisaw, do you mind if I ask you a slightly odd question? That depends on the question, I guess. I was wondering what your favorite color is. Everyone has one after all. I almost reply before realizing why the seemingly mundane question is actually quite strange. My favorite color, but she gives a pouting look, wanting me to answer anyway, while the answer it gives seems unavoidably wasted on her. There isn't any harm in giving it. I'd always had a thing for green. I'd say that's my favorite. Oh, same. I also like green. Parang kay Moon lang din. Gusto ko din ng green. Sa kanya, gusto niya din ng emerald green.
Am I being watched?
Green, is it? What things do you think of when contemplating that color? I suppose grass fields and trees in summer. The army as well with camouflage. Men always seem to like the military. But that sounds like a nice color, a very nice color. She nods her head a little, as if approving of the choice, considering how foreign the concept of color is to her mind. Labeling it by association seems reasonable enough. If everyone has a favorite, then what's yours? White. I'm told it's the color of snow and of ice cream. You're no better than me then. If you only like the color because of favorite food, I guess white is nice too though. And speaking of colors, it'll be getting dark soon. Let me help you up. Lily offers her hand, which I take in mind to help level. Di ba dapat level her up yun? Level her up. Level her up. From her seat at the stand table. Its softness compared to mine takes me off guard. So as I'm really not used to such casual contact. Phew! Holding hands? Nice. Holding hands pala. Etsy, das na. It doesn't seem to bother her at all, while it seems obvious why it feels like there's one more ladylike aspect to her. As her hands move to her pocket, I quickly cut her off. Don't worry, I'll pay for this. Oh, thank you, Hisaw. She gives an earnest smile at the gesture, a reward much greater than that of her words. My God, ang dami mong sinayang na, ang dami mong pera na ano ah. Music box, tapos ano, tapos yung ano. Oh my God, tapos pera pa. Oh my God, so many pera. Ako, masyado kasi yung kuripot. By the time we step off the bus, pero you know, I'm glad to lose my money for the one I love. Not the one I simp for, but the one I love. By the time we step off the bus, it's well and truly dark. We make our way up the hill in silence, both of us behaving a little awkwardly, probably because of the day's events. While I'm still concerned about over Lily's withdrawn nature after meeting with her sister, the fact I managed to cheer her up even slightly feels like a personal victory. But it feels like the air between us has changed. Maybe it's only a bit, but it's something I don't think either of us realized before. That was a daze, wasn't it? Oh ho ho! It was. That doesn't elude either of us, the question answer being so self-evident as to be rhetorical. Awkward as it may be, I don't think this feeling is bad. In fact, quite the opposite. I don't know what it is. I just can't be sure, but it feels like something a little more than friendship. Phew, phew! Nagbablush ako. Oh my God. Understanding, empathy, searching for the words adequately describe it is difficult nonetheless. Would you like to do this again sometime, Lily, without shopping for presents? Oh, oh, oh. The tentative. Hindi ko mabasa. I'm grinning ear to ear. The tentative question is met with the same look from Lily as before. Her pale skin make the rosy tint of her cheek just slightly more noticeable in her face. Though still pointed to the street ahead of her lowers just a little. Nagtataka ako kung kaya mo ba talagang makita ang blush ng isang tao. Hindi ko kayang makita ng gano'n. O sadyang bulag lang talaga ako. Okay. Nice. Nice. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay na. I walked down the hall of my school bag in hand. Girls, there's motoris. Okay, a bit surprising pero dito na tayo magtatapos. Ho. Because masyado na matagal sa tingin ko din. Mas magiging matagal, aabot ako ng 2 hours. Oh my God. Pero ano na kasi, basta, dito na tayo magsa-stop. Save na tayo. Create new save state. Yes. Sana naman hindi mapuno yung PC ng kapatid ko. Sa akin pala kaya nasira yung PC ng kapatid ko. Oh my God. Okay, na-save na natin. Nice. Ooh. Main menu. Yes. Oh my God, nice. Matatapos pa yan kung ano man. May mga picture pa yan. Um, ano yung kompleto? Parang gusto ko tuloy makuha yung iba ding ganito. Ibang girls, pero loyal tayo. Kasi kapag ako nagbi-visual novel, isang route lang kukunin ko. Tapos, gagawin ko kahit anong paraan, basta maayos yung route na yun. Ngayong ngayong part na video na to, marami tayong nalaman kay Lily. Yes. About her family, her circumstances, about, her actions, her behaviors. It's so good to know about someone you really, really like. Like. At yun na yun. Salamat sa pakikinig. At, narito, salamat sa pakikinig at pagsama sa akin dito sa aking visual novels ulit. Kung meron man tao dyan. At yun na yun. Hintay tayo sa next for more Lilly-sama. Okay. Johnny. Wait lang. Tama. Okay, off na tayo. Johnny. Bye-bye.